These 10 habits made me $115 million. And what's interesting is most of my millionaire friends also follow these same habits. Becoming a millionaire starts with changing who you are. Your business or any other venture in life will never surpass your level of personal development. By the end of this video, you will have a clear path on who you need to become a millionaire. So first and foremost, one of the biggest things that helps me generate $115 million was I stopped hitting the snooze button and I woke up the same day every single time. What this does is not only is it easier on your body where you get more rest and it gets conditioned to it so you have deeper sleep. I had the same routine. And a lot of people, yes, the same routine gets boring, but think about it. If every single day you have a different routine, how can you possibly gain momentum in anything? Because the whole point of success is who can consistently be the best. If you're not building anything consistent, you can't possibly do it. So for me, I actually like waking up at about 4:15 a.m. Sometimes I'll wake up at 5. And a lot of you might go, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. But really, all you have to do is go to sleep earlier. Now, you might ask, why do I do that? Because I wake up before anyone else gets up. Why do I do that? Because that allows me to then fulfill things on the business or do the most important things first and have me time before anyone else is up bothering me and pinging me. Now, you can make the argument that I could still go and work out or, take a break and look at my phone later. And yeah, you could do that. But during the day, that's when my team needs me. And so I like to be available early in the morning or super late at night, depending on how you want to go to bed late or you want to wake up early. I prefer waking up early because it makes me feel better. And most productive things are not done at night. Like most bad things that happen in life, I think it happens, at nighttime. And so for me, that's the best thing I've done. I stopped hitting the snooze button 4:15 every single day. And it also helps you to build that muscle of consistency and do it even when it doesn't feel good. Because sometimes, I'll be honest, I want to stay up. Like I want to watch basketball. I want to do other things. But because I'm trying to be consistent and wake up at the same time every day, it helps me put in alignment my different actions and expectations. Now, you can wake up at the same time every day, but it's going to be for nothing if you don't plan your day the night before. So one of the easiest things I do, and you can do whatever you want, but I use pen and paper still to plan my day. Now, you could definitely write on your phone and stuff like that, but I already use technology so much, I try to get away from it. So what I do is I'll come in here and I will just write down, you guys can't even see this, but I will just write down what I have to do for the next day, and I will cross those things off as I go. So, do this, do that, check on this client, the most important things, and then I will cross them off as I go so those things are not forgotten. A lot of people wake up and then they start trying to plan what they need to do that day at that time. You need to plan the night before. When you have the most important things listed out, it's really easy because I start at the top and then I just bang through as many things as I can. And in business, what most of you will realize if you haven't done one yet, or if you do have one, is there's always stuff to do. And so having a list, like the list never goes away in my personal opinion, because even if you get everything done, you can always do stuff to get ahead. So for example, if you finish all your YouTube videos, you can still shoot more YouTube videos that you can pace out in the future. And so to me, it's super important. And actually what helped me make $150 million is I planned everything the night before. That's super important. Now, none of you are going to believe this, but to this day, I will still send at least 100 DMs a day. And you guys go, oh my gosh, like, are you crazy? Why would you do that? Because it's the little things, it's the consistent things, it's the small things that make the man, that make the business. And so when I was early in my business, I made my first $10,000 in a month doing that. And to this day, yeah, now I'm making millions and millions of dollars, but I still do the small things first because yeah, I'm not going to make millions of dollars from that action, but it's going to bring in sales regardless. And so even if it's not as effective as it used to be, the whole point of success is in building a business really is doing the same things and then adding more as a business scale, right? So maybe you only run ads on Facebook, now you do YouTube, that's more complex. And then you do Twitter, that's more complex. And then you buy portfolio companies, that's more complex. But you still have to do the basics, because if you stop doing the basics, all these other things simply just replace it. And then your revenue doesn't really go up, it just kind of stays in the same spot. So making sure that I still send 100 DMs a day still, whether it's me or someone on my team, is vital to continue to grow my businesses. Now, as I accrued wealth, what was crazy to me is I would talk to some of my rich friends or other business owners, and they would not even know what's going on their credit cards. They have no idea what's on their credit card statements, how much they're spending, what they're spending it on, what apps they're using. And what I found is by checking that each and every day is super important, especially when you have a big team, because when you get a team and they start using your business credit cards, what you'll find is they will start to buy stuff that maybe they don't need or they stop using. And because you're paying for it and not them, they may not say anything or they may forget. And so by checking my credit card statements each and every day, if I see anything that looks fishy, I'll go to my team and say, hey, what is this? What is that? Like, are we using this? Can I cancel this? Can we get a refund on this? Whatever. And that will actually save a ton of money. Now, it's not going to be a huge amount, right? Like if you're making $1 million a month and you save $2,000, does it really matter? Maybe not. But I think one of the things about making a lot of money is you need to respect money. If you don't respect money, it'll come and go. But if you respect money and you treat it, how it should be treated, and you treat it just like when you were poor, I think money will stay. And so the same way that you're building a business, which is a lot of risk, you want to save and invest very frugally. And so if you guys would see some of my investments, like I do sure thing investments. I don't do a lot of crazy investments because the money I've worked so hard to make, I don't want to lose it. Now, another thing that I do on a consistent basis, day in and day out, that you should also do too, is just write write content. Now, I'm not the best content writer in the world, the best copywriter in the world, but I think I've gotten pretty good. And the way you get good is you simply continue to take reps. And what's cool is that people, even though you may not notice it, they're following you, they're watching your content, they're consuming it. And so some people say, yeah, I've watched your stuff for a year, I finally decided to become a client. And so you may not be very good at first, which, to be honest, my stuff wasn't very good. I'd only get maybe 3 likes, but not only would people watch, but I'd actually get some clients from it. I remember one of my first posts had around 3 likes, but it actually got me a client for $3,000. And the cool thing is when you're in the social media game, you can either go for views or you can go for clients, usually. And like some people will get a mix. That's why you'll see some people, it's like, wow, they have a ton of views and they get a ton of clients because they've really mastered both. But in the beginning, I always have gone for clients over views because if I'm super popular and I don't make any money, who cares? I would rather make a lot of money and not be popular. And it was funny is a lot of people will say, hey, you want to be rich, but you don't want to be known. And that's always been my goal is I at least want to be rich, right? If I'm known, great, but that's not really my goal. It's like my goal is to make a lot of money so I can do what I'd like to do. And so making sure you do content on a daily basis to get good at, even YouTube videos. I have 30,000 subscribers. You're watching this video, but I've posted 1,600 videos. Now, is my full-time attention on this? Absolutely not. So I'm not always able to curate the best ideas or come with the best videos or the best hooks or the best angles, but I'm going to continue to stick with it because if I do this for 10 years, over time, I have to get better. Like it may be slower than someone else, but it's like going to the gym for 10 years. There's no way you're going to leave in worse shape than in the shape you went in if you continue to go. Now, in the beginning of my business, I didn't have a lot of opportunities come my way because I was a nobody. As I became more well-known and I got higher level friends, I get offers on a daily basis, very consistent basis. And so I have to say no more than I say yes. And the reason you have to do that is there's always a distraction, right? And the best businesses or really the most successful people, they focus on one thing more times than not. If they have multiple things, they have different CEOs doing that. So I have portfolio companies, but I have CEOs running those. My time is not dependent on the business growing. And you have to get very good at saying no because as you become successful, as you become more well-known, as I have more awards, made more money, got more well-connected, people will ask me to do stuff all the time. And sometimes I'll actually find myself saying yes too much and I get overworked and overwhelmed, but it's my own fault because I'm saying yes all the time. So one of the key things that has helped me make 115 million is being able to say no. But all that's for nothing if you don't work out. I would say at least 5 times a week. Now to each their own, but I feel that I made more money as I became in better shape and I became more ripped. Why? Because my health and my energy is dependent on me working out and going to the gym. The better my health is, the better I perform. It's really an energy thing. A lot of people think, hey, it's how you look and all this type of stuff, but really it's just, it helps my sleep. It helps my energy. It helps my focus. It helps my productivity. It helps me stay sharper cognitively. That's why I work out and it lowers my stress. So I can't speak for you, but I think I'd be in prison if I didn't work out. Why? Because my stress just gets so high because of all the demands of the business. And it's self-inflicted, yes. I really get a lot more energy and I feel a lot better consistently working out. And so one of the things I do is make sure I work out at least 5 times a week. Usually I work out more, but at least 5 times. And what that does is not only does it keep my body in shape, but it keeps my mind in shape. Now, as you ascend to the top, a lot of people will become your friends. I have decided not to have a ton of friends. And the reason is that you can only have so many friends and put so much time into people, right? And the second thing is that a lot of people are usually trying to get things out of you. Now, I might be a little jaded. That's totally fine if you think that, but I'd rather have a few close friends than have a ton of kind of acquaintances. And acquaintances are people who show up when you're having a party, when you're doing something fun, but it's usually not the people who are going to be there for you when you have something go terribly wrong. And so for me, I want to audit my circle monthly and make sure the people who are pulling energy into my life, I put more time into them, right? They give me energy. Like I have intellectual conversations. I like where they're going in life. The people who are pulling energy from you, you want to get them out because putting time into those people, if it's making you feel bad or you feel like you're not getting anything out of it, you're not a bad person for pushing those people aside. Remember, there's only so much time in the day. You only have so many goals you can accomplish before you die. And so you have to decide, do I want to be friends with everyone or do I want to accomplish something amazing? Because at the end of the day, you can't be friends with everyone and do that. So pick and choose. For me, I've decided to focus more on my goals. And so I keep a small circle. Now there's a ton of things you can track in business, but there's really 3 key metrics end of the day that matter the most. How many leads you get or conversations, right? How many calls you get booked, so sales calls, and then how many closes. There's so many other things you need to track at a higher level, but to keep it simple, I always am tracking those numbers. And so if my business is not making as much money as I want, I need more leads to get more calls, get more sales. It's super simple. So you have to look at how is your business generating leads, whether it's YouTube or it's Instagram or it's TikTok or Snapchat, ads, it doesn't really matter. You just have to look, how is that performing? Because if it doesn't perform, you're not going to make that consistent income. Business is actually really simple once you figure it out. You just have to have a way to get consistent lead generation that turns into sales calls that then turns into closes. And last but not least, one of the biggest things that has made me 115 million in sales is I sell before I build. A lot of people will waste 1 to 2 years, if not longer, trying to build something, and then they go to sell it and it flops. And it's so sad to me because they waste so much time and so much money and create so much stress. What I do is I'll sell something, I'll pre-sell it and see if anyone buys it, and then if they buy it, then I'll build it. And a lot of times that is gonna be the absolute best thing, because if you don't know if the market's gonna buy it, why are you gonna spend all your time doing it? A lot of people say, oh, they said they'll buy it when I make it. They said they would like that, but people vote with their dollars. If they're not paying for it, they don't really want it. And so that has always saved me a ton of time and made me super successful, because I'll sell stuff so I know there's a want before I actually build it. These are the habits that made me a millionaire, but if you wanna see the step-by-step business strategy that generated over $150 million in sales, click here.